Hi everybody, it's Nana Marie in Quebec City. I will try to do a video. I can't promise that this is going to work out. My cat is active and disruptive, and I am very unwell. So either of those things may interfere with my video. But I want to keep going. You know, my spirit is so active, like my spirit inside is alive, dancing, and having a party. But my body and my mind weigh me down, weigh me way down. And today, I really needed to end some bad thinking. And I need to tell you about it because, you know, this is what I'm here for. To go through fucking everything and then tell you about it. So that you can save your souls from this satanic administration. So, but you know, we've been programmed, all of us, neuro-linguistically programmed, hypnotized. We've got to understand that basic fact, that there is no thought you have that is of your own in most cases. You're groomed and you're developed here. It's been going on for 2,600 years. When I was a clinical hypnotherapist in training, I trained through the Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association, the International Hypnotherapy Association. And I learned a lot about the roots of hypnosis. It wasn't useful to me now or then. I just wanted to learn how to hypnotize people. But today it's all come back in clear visualization of what I learned in that training. The first thing I learned was that hypnosis was invented 3,000 years ago in the Greek sleep temples, where they invented fantasies and speaking to people while they're sleeping. And then the people would wake up and they would act out those fantasies. So I also know that because of my personal journey in world travels, I was in Ephesus, Turkey, where they beheaded Mother Mary. I knew through that visit and through the beings of light who downloaded me with the history and me trying to connect dots and make things make sense for you guys, is that this tribe, it is a red-headed tribe. They're manifesting their red hair. They're also maybe red-headed people who got it through DNA transferring around vaccines and stuff like that. Those things are doing great bodily damage to people and changing their all sorts of things. I saw a program on how what is possible. I can't talk about it here. I'm just saying that I saw an albino black boy today, and a spirit told me that he was. All of us are being messed with, guys, in the DNA. And it's not just this recent 3 years, guys. It's been going on all along. That's the whole point. Because it's a satanic administration. And it's not brand new. This is like it just didn't just happen, guys. This has been going on. And you've been in a hypnotized trance. Walking right into hell. Right straight smack into hell. And Jesus was here to try to warn you about it. He was Christ conscious. Now the word conscious would be the key there. Conscious. Whereas most people are not. They're worshiping. They're idolizing. Their ambitions and dreams revolve around money and having things and consuming. and authority and power or perversion. There's all sorts of imaginations going on. But you're hypnotized, and it's the only one that can save you is you. And that's why I hung up my clinical hypnotherapy practice. I can't save anybody with this. This is not something somebody else can save you. You have to deprogram your own brain with your thoughts. Your thoughts will conjure up images and imagination, and you'll manifest what you're focused on. I'm terrible for that. I've been... of course I'm terrible for that. I was severely traumatized, emotionally tortured my entire life by my family, starting with my mother. And having this kind of horror show in your life. And then in the beginning, I remember being a child and just crying so often, you know. I didn't fit in anywhere. I didn't fit in at school at all. I was bullied at school and I was bullied at home. It was a horrible, hellish existence. And that's what we have, but I'm aware, I'm conscious. And this is, you know, my consciousness came in 2016, and yeah, it felt like PTSD, and it sounded fucking crazy for a while. Yes, I admit it. And trying to articulate to my family, I'm excited about it, but there is nothing that's going to convince my family about my soul, my soul tree and their soul tree. There's nothing. Everybody's head set. They're already convinced. They know everything. They learned it in a book or they watched it on TV. It's just they're convinced. So for me to get through to them or anybody, it's just not going to happen. The only people that are going to get something from me are people who want it and people who know there's something seriously wrong going on and are willing to look at the truth, are willing to take responsibility for fixing it as well. It's not going to happen for anybody else except people who want it and people who are dedicated to fixing themselves from this horror show of thought. Which I fall, like, look at me. I was thrown away like garbage by my own grandchildren and made into a complete monster by the eyes of everybody. You know, the more they speak, the more the story grows. I don't know, I'm probably a six-headed monster by now in everybody's eyes. They don't know me. They don't want to. Something switched in their brain, you know. As soon as something like the word crazy comes along, oh, you can shut that person out. You can flush them down the toilet. You can do anything you want to them. That's a hypnotized monkey who has no feelings. They're walking about life, judging and mocking and laughing and not having a clue about consciousness to their soul. So they're hypnotized. And this tribe is a head chopping tribe. So you can expect that to be reborn again too, this war. And I just saw a thing in Russia, some Russian head chopped Ukrainian soldier. I just saw it on YouTube. I didn't watch it. I don't watch that shit. But unfortunately, I had to see the headline as I was scrolling through. And then I realized, you know, remember ISIS? They're head choppers, right? Big time. That's what we saw when we first started really hearing about ISIS. It was the head chopping. And it's freaking horrifying to a child or to anyone conscious. It rivets through their entire being to even think about it. That's how I felt. And I wasn't even all the way conscious then. I mean, I've always been very sensitive. I just didn't know why. had no idea why. So I was more sensitive than other people. Nobody around me saw what I saw, heard what I heard, or wanted to hear it, especially the truth. People just aren't into it. So let me carry on. ISIS is the head choppers, and I just want to draw your attention to something that, you see, in hypnotherapy training, I also learned that there's two basic types of people. There are people that learn and speak. It's called kappas. You can Google the kappas hypnosis, and you can see where he breaks down you're either literal or you're inferential, emotional. And so I am both. I speak and understand in literal and emotional terms. Well-balanced brain, I feel now, except my left brain is completely gone as far as learning anything technical or French or music or anything like that. But what I did was I thought about it with our genes, the hypnosis, and the Bible. You know, that Jesus came to debunk it. He came to debunk Moses. Don't you even think he came to debunk Moses. And they're twisting his words. For example, they're saying he was a meek and mild man and he trained you to turn the other cheek. When you saw bad, turn the other cheek. That's a bold-faced lie. No. Moses was the eyeball for the eyeball guy. That's the punishment, right? Eye for an eye, eye for an eye. And head choppers too, like, you know, all that John the Baptist bullshit. Listen, it's all to conjure up your imagination about that kind of filth and virgins. You know, and I'm here to standing up telling you they're using people and then calling them virgins. They beheaded Mary and they sacrificed your children's sins. And then they beheaded her again in the King James era. I'm telling you that. I know it deeply, personally, sensitively, feel it. I have to live with my thoughts about what I know in the whole history and what's to come. But I want to tell you about Genesis. Genes of ISIS. That's what I'm picking up emotionally. You've got to be able to get to that. There was a word that I was trained with. That's what I was going to start to tell you. There was a word in hypnosis that was very, very critical to any good, decent hypnotherapist. You have to get to the root, to the engram of any situation. Engram. An engram means root. You have to get to the root. Well, I'm telling you, Genesis is the root of the genes of ISIS. That's what I'm figuring out tonight. Whew, I got that out. So I was going to just do, I told you that I am exploring my own, like, not only am I sharing with great risk of being mocked and targeted, I'm also trying to teach you to do what I'm doing to recover. And because I am no different than you, and you are no different than Jesus. You aren't. You are of Christ when you were born. But each new life, each new birth, we're managed into a system and immediately drugged and immediately educated and taken away from our mothers. who is mocked so mercilessly. It's horrible. And people don't even realize it. Women don't even realize it. So it's a godless world without mother, Sons. It's a god. I know she was probably a psychopath like mine and emotionally tortured you because she doesn't know how to use her emotional intelligence. She doesn't have any. It's all withered up. She either thinks very badly of herself and acts that out, or she has covered up her feelings and has some sort of superiority narcissism going on. She know not what she does. Gladys Love was also murdered by the military. And the military are the ones in charge. Don't you even, those wings, there's a reason they're wearing those wings. And they are the worst of the worst of the worst. The worst. And if you think those borders are just refugees and people looking for a second home and because where they're coming from is so bad, how come they're coming with the most expensive runners? How come they're mostly male-aged, of war age? How come they got these cell phones and devices and fancy clothes? That's what I see. I don't see poor people. I see an invasion, a welcome invasion. And I see hell coming to you. That's weird, I said to you. I didn't mean to. But I don't know what's going to happen. I know that I have asked my guides that I don't want to see suffering. I just already can't even cope with what I see on devices. I don't want to see anything in real action here. Or to hear about it happening in the neighborhoods where it's going to be happening, in the white neighborhoods. And if you can't deprogram yourself from belief systems, belief in billionaires, belief in your media, belief in your education, belief in your movie watching, your thoughts may have driven you to hell with them. They really may have. Because I see very little action by anybody except a whole bunch of mouthing and know-it-alling and one side or the other. It's gladiator shit. It always is. It always will be. And it's just, I see the picture, guys, and it's a really ugly picture. It's hell here. I'm putting the light on hell. I'm showing you it's hell. You don't know what happens to people who don't go along with the programs. You help them you help them suffer all life long by insisting they think the same as you. Like this near-death guy I saw, he was 1, 2, 3 years old. 3 years old, and his grandfather died, and he saw his grandfather came, and he started to talk to his parents and everything about it. It was the exact same situation as with my client, Tegan. He was 21. Same story. When he was a young child, his grandfather came to him, said he was a spirit guide. They're twin flames. And yet he gets drugged, and his mother is full of fear. And we just can't do this to ourselves anymore. We have to get to the genesis, genes of Isis. They have all the money now. They own the books, they own the Hollywood, they own the armies. And it's a lockstep program. Stop fucking fooling yourselves around here, okay? This isn't just entertainment. This is real consequences to our hypnosis. of not stepping up when you see evil, not turning it off as soon as you see it, not allowing yourself and your children to watch violence and play violent games like they do. There's nothing right here. Nothing fucking right. It's all wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. And you don't see it. It's horrible. For a God, you know. It's okay for Satan. It's okay if you like that fantasy. Halloween and all that. I mean, just look at Trump's face. Tell me you don't see it. And his emotional intelligence, guys, is so withered up. So retarded. He has nothing intelligent to say about nothing. Nothing intelligent is going on. Do you know what they do? They use words and big words and different words, and they change words and they change languages to make it as freaking confusing as possible. You know, the whole point is to be confusing and frustrating for you, the government, the media. And so you're going to go that way. You're going to go confused. You're going to be so delusional. You don't know what's up. The only thing you can count on, the only savior you have, is cracking your own ego and living in the heart in the way that you're fearless and you work for love, not war. That's the only way. Yeah, I'm poisoned here. I am freaking poisoned. And between the poison in my body and the 5G going on, it's unexplainable. And especially in me, like today I got up and I walked about 1 kilometer to the store. That's the first in about 2 weeks. Well, how did I do that? You know, with my heart and my lungs the way they are, and my stomach now it feels like there's a 10-pound, or 10, it's like a 50-pound bowling ball in there, and pulls on me when I breathe, and it hurts. It's always something with me, always. And it's the poisoning that I'm going through. But for some reason, they're not taking me yet. I don't know when. I just feel a pressure cooker within my own realm that I just feel like my body's dying. You know, my freaking high spirit is keeping it alive here. Your spirit can heal so much. And it heals everything. You don't need any help. You don't need outside help. You need a better imagination. And your imagination is critical at this stage. It has to be your own. You can't live in the dreams and fantasies of other people. You've had many, many lives, and the only problem is going to be, okay, is you're going to be reborn into this administration again. And each generation, it's getting more and more transhuman. Each generation is less mother and less God. So, you know, use your own noggin here to figure out where it's going. And you decide, are you willing to be reborn into something even worse? Yeah. I don't see people doing anything, guys. I just see them complaining. So what to do? Well, I stand down. I stand down from going to the doctor. I refuse to support corporations, certain corporations. I do reviews online, and I speak my mouth, and I say whatever I want here. Actually, I have to tone it down a bit. And I am monitored and watched, but I also have spiritual help that helps me get somewhere. Otherwise, I'd be nowhere and dead. Trust me. To tell you a story, in March 27th, 2017, 6 months after the beings of light came to visit me and told me to be prepared, I was kidnapped in a hospital and tortured for 30 hours. And I couldn't speak when I got out. I was in a total chaotic state of PTSD, and they know how to induce it. And you don't make sense to people, and they run away from you and call you crazy. I'm not angry at anything or anyone, and I do love everybody. I know you're spirits. I know you're just hypnotized freaking Frankensteins and judges and head choppers. So I'm just trying to save anybody who has a desire to go beyond this 3D matrix. I have no hope for it myself. I feel it's going to blow up. I have no hope for it, and I know that Christ is leaving the building. The 3D matrix. There will be no light. "4D is the dark." You'll be in 4D. It is pure dark. And what I best describe it for myself, and when I was going through it and still going through it, a lot of times I slip into darkness. Don't get me wrong, you can be in fifth dimension, but you'll slip right back down because your thoughts, your stupid stinking thoughts that you learned here, that somebody said to you over and over and over again, keep coming back. And that's brainwashing. And you've got to deprogram that with new thoughts, new imagination, new thoughts. Be free. You're allowed to do that. You plant your own goddamn garden here. Do you understand? It's your garden. You plant the seeds, and then you water it. I think Mother's Day is going to be big. In some way, I've got a feeling. About Mother's Day. I don't have anything outside of that, but I've had feelings before and I've been wrong, or it was for something completely different than what I thought. So I'm okay with being wrong in emotional intelligence, because an emotionally intelligent person is flexible and open and has no absolutes. Absolutely no absolutes. And the only one I have is the memory of my son. After the beings of light downloaded me with all of this, he gave me a heart orgasm that is not felt on earth, guys. That it's something for me to hang on to in my knowing what love really feels like in us, all of us. My son and your son, mothers, and your daughters, father, are your lords. My son is my Lord. Always should have been. But they're not Lord here. Christs are not Lord here. You know. But that's the upside down part of it all. We have to start thinking about our children as Lord. They are Christ. Does that make sense? Am I crazy? I don't care. You know, this is my imagination and my willingness to open up my mind and allow new thoughts to come that just never came to me before, is saving me, you know, because the most important thing I pass on to you is maintaining a stable and good mood. a good mood. I mean, you can't be joyful right now, I get it, but a stable and good mood. And you're in control of that through your thoughts. People that are in a bad, miserable mood often have bad, miserable thoughts. So try to break it yourself. Be responsible. First of all, be self-aware of your thoughts and be responsible for them. Nothing is hidden. Your thoughts, your fantasies, your entire world is being recorded for you to repeat history. Because you cannot go home with these imaginations. And that's a message from above. You cannot go home with these imaginations. It has to be the imagination of heaven in your heart, of love, of who we are. And you can't turn your will and conscience over to the care of outside gods and think that you're getting away with something. So whatever you can do, you are not me, I am not you. Everybody has their own gift, their own way that they can reverse the cycle. You have different words maybe and a different imagination on how to get it done. But as long as you're returning to Christ and knowing what the future is, without, it should be motivating. It should be very fucking motivating to do something for yourself, for your family. And you can't run around controlling other people, I noticed. And if they can't see what you see, you're going to have to let it go. You're going to have to learn how to love unconditionally and let it go. Like the hideous way my family treated me, robbing me, raping me, and ruining me. They are loved. I love them. And I can see the hypnosis. They look like monkeys to me on a game board. Everybody does, who's not of Christ, who's running around doing exactly the opposite. Worshipping outside of themselves. That's the problem. Worship. That's the genesis. That's the genes of ISIS. And that's where it's heading. Okay, everybody. Nana Marie in Quebec City on Soul Tree. I was going to do some music. I'm going to first do lyrics, and then I'm going to make up a song with my xylophone. I'm so excited to become back to music in my heart.